Hello, hello, welcome to the channel. My name's Nobby. Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of our Path of Exile Affliction beginner's playthrough, playing Zizaran's Boneshatter Slayer when we get there, eventually. At the minute, we're just a duelist. We've just taken, let me get on the right screen for you, we've just taken Spectral Throw. Now, I've never used this skill before, so this could be interesting. When I've ever done melee and always gone Cyclone, it's usually ground, slam and sunder until you get Cyclone. This is a little bit different, so we'll try Spectral Throw. I have been and organised my stash tab now. The town seems to be stable again, so servers are okay this morning. It is Saturday morning, 9 o'clock. They've been live 12 hours, effectively. So I've sorted out my stash tabs. Now, there's a few things in here you may want to do. If you're a new player, you will only have 4 of these normal tabs. Go up here to the stash options cog, turn on enable affinities and turn on auto navigation. All right. From there, when you right click to customize this tab, you can pick what item would automatically go in it. So currency, for example, would be the affinity there. You can rename it, you can recolor it. Press a tick to confirm. I've already got currency set up, surprise, surprise, on the currency tab. If I go here for you, you can see affinities. Currency is only allowed on this one, whereas on the base tabs, you can have anything. But what the affinity does, if I'm in, say, my unique tab, but I want to put currency into the currency tab, when I control and click, it auto navigates to the currency tab, puts it in for you. So if you are on the base version 4 stash tabs, you could have one set for currency, you could have one set for flasks, one set for gems if you wanted. And that's the way you can auto sort your stash a little bit. It didn't used to be like that. That's a fairly recent improvement they've done, quality of life, but it does help. Don't worry about all these currencies. We will go through them as we get them, and as we start using them, I'll go through crafting basics and everything. All right. This is, as you may be aware, if you've watched my other playthrough. If you haven't, welcome in. If you're new to the game, welcome in. I hope you enjoy it. The idea of this playthrough, it's a boomer playthrough. Act 1 and 2, really slowly. Explaining everything as we go along, so you can pick it up and hopefully play along with it, and I'll get you through the initial difficulty curve. Once we get to Act 3 and 4, I'll try to speed up a bit, because the game sort of forces you to speed up with the number of mobs that it starts descending on you. So it does sort of force you to speed up naturally through the game. First couple of acts are pretty slow with regard to mob density, but then it picks up. So I'm going to go slow and touch on everything that happens, everything we see. We've already touched on the gem sockets, active and support skill gems, and also the linking of these sockets and gems. So we've already touched on that. I do want to touch on character abilities or attributes. You have 3. You got strength, which is red, intelligence, which is blue, dexterity, which is green. Your gems relate to the skill that you need to be able to use that skill. Example, Spectral Throw is a green, so that would require dex, and Chance to Bleed is a red, that would require strength. Also, as a duelist stroke slayer, we've started in the area of the skill tree that is red and green focused. If you're a marauder, you will be totally in the red. If you're a Templar, it's a red and blue split. If you're a witch, you start up here, which is all blue. Over here is the, what's he called? The rogue. That's blue and green split. And then down here, you've got your archer, which is all green. Doesn't mean to say you can't path towards blues and you can't path towards reds. It's just the starting point on the passive tree. The Scion, a bit different, starts in the middle, has access to everything. Never played a Scion, actually. We might do that one time, you know. We'll find a Scion build for a laugh. Why not? You will unlock the Scion in Act 3. I'll show you where she is when we get there. All right. Also on the passive screen, a couple of differences in the nodes. You've got your travel nodes, which are basically these. Every time you level up, you get a point. Also, some quests will offer points as well, and you just work your way through to travel down. You then have some keystone, which are these ones with the gold border. These ones give you a little bit more power, a few more attributes, a few more increases. And then we have notable... they're notables. Sorry, my mistake. Got it the wrong way around. They're notable. And then we have the keystone ones, which are these bigger ones. These are effectively build-changing ones. Do a lot of different things, but it may be a kiss curse. You may get one really good benefit, but you get another that's not so good. Like this one, for example, converts evasion rating to armor, but your dex doesn't give you any bonus to evasion. So it's literally only going to count the evasion on your gear. So they're a bit kiss curse, but they are sort of build defining. All right, that's the passive tree. We'll work through this. We are following the build guide, kindly provided by Zizaran, which is this bad boy in the Path of Building program. You should have this installed now. You should be ready to roll. So we're going to follow this for Act 1. So we're working around this circle here. There's a bit of life, evasion and armor here. There's a bit of mana and mana regen here. And there's some two-handed damage here. That's where we're working on. What I have done... I have been to Tarkley over here. I traded in
Still alive, are we?
our little one-handed sword and shield and taken the two-handed sword, which it recommends we start with. So we're going to go with a two-handed sword. We're going with Spectral Throw.
Stay sharp out there.
If you are new to the game, play this like a single-player RPG. Go through the zones, explore everywhere, learn all the lore. There is a good backstory to this game as well in the first 10 acts before you even get to the end game. It is a tutorial, these 10 acts, but it is going to take us about 50 plus episodes, I reckon. Right, let's go. Let's go and do the coast. I should bring up the map. So we've just done the Twilight Strands. We got to Lioneyes Watch and then it crashed out last night. We are now going up to the coast and we're heading to the Tidal Island is where we need to go. Let's see how this skill does. We've got it supported with the chance to bleed. So it should be okay. Again, we're going to try and full clear this zone. Worth noting, if you bring up your map when you get into a zone, if you see that little symbol to the right of the name, you've got the coast and that little symbol, that indicates that there is a waypoint in this zone. So we know there's a waypoint in this zone, which means we can then fast travel back to town. Right, let's see how this Spectral Throw works. Or if I'm going to revert back to Ground Slam. We'll soon find out. As well, the build guide. We are following the build guide. Zizaran is very good at his guides. They are still a guide, though. Feel free to play around. If you've got a skill you don't like, and we're supposed to be using this skill until about level 40. If we don't like this Spectral Throw, feel free to swap it out for something you may have tried before. Or have a look around. See what there is. You may find something nice. Ground Slam and Sunder are quite good. Okay, well, it's not doing bad damage at the minute. There's a little pop-up to say press tab. So you can move your map from the right-hand corner into the centre screen, which is why I said in the options in the last episode, turn up the visibility and turn down the landscape transparency. Just helps you see where you're going if you want to run with that up all the time. I tend not to. I leave it up in the corner. Also, there is this help panel, semicolon. This is really good, guys. If you're new to the game, highly recommend taking a couple of minutes to read all these sections. You'll unlock these as you encounter things. It's well worth looking at. This video, for example, without the support gem, with the support gem. See how it's firing out more bolts? They're really good videos. They took some time into producing this. Explains level up, what's going to be required at the next level. The damage goes up. Explains support skills that will change the skill source. It explains the passive tree. And there's also a glossary and some customer support. But this is an excellent help panel. If you're new to the game, definitely use that. Have a look at it when you first unlock new items. It does help. Skill gem can be leveled up. Yes, alright. Skill gems not only provide you with the skill, they also gain XP. We can level up chance to bleed. We will level it up. You just left click on the plus, that will level it up. There may be times when you don't want to level a gem up. When you get the notification it's ready to level, you can right click on the plus and that will stop it from leveling. And then if you do need to resume, it is down here in your bag. To level a gem from 1 to 20, I reckon you're probably going to be around level 70 before you get to that point where it's actually level 20. The XP required to level some gems is ridiculous. Okay, I'm just picking up everything at the minute. We will get to the point where we are only picking up yellows and maybe blues, but for now, even if we can't use it, pick it up. We can sell it in town, exchange it for some currency. We'll need plenty of crafting currency as the game goes on as well. Okay, this skill's not doing too bad at the minute. Doing okay. Alright, that spectral throw leveled up as well. Should do a little bit more damage now. Could definitely do with another mana pot though. Early game, always struggle with mana. We'll eventually get there where we're getting mana regen on kill and on hit and it's not really an issue, but for now... it looks like mana's the struggle. Alright, let's work our way around. Just clear this zone. I'm trying desperately to call them zones, not maps. Maps are endgame. So I want to try and keep the terminology separate for you.
It seems this new arena suits me.
Alright, level 3. We have a skill point. We know we're going around this physical attack damage and down to Master of the Arena there. So we will apply that point.
My spirit is spent.
There we go. That was nice. Ooh, yellow boots. All right, we are definitely going to use a Scroll of Wisdom here. Our first rare in the coast is excellent. Right. Rare items, unidentified. Use a Scroll of Wisdom. There you go. You see how many attributes this has got. So, increased armor, although it's not got a lot anyway. +3 to max life will help. Regen life per second will help. A couple of resistances, fire and lightning. They'll become important later on. 10% movement speed is important at this low level. Stun and block recovery, not so much, but they are excellent for this level. Pair of yellow boots. That does help. If you can stack up on yellows in your first couple of zones, you're on to a winner. All right. Just watch the fire on this one. She can hurt. There we go. Okay, we're safe. Right, we will take the blues. In fact, I'm just going to take everything for now. We'll deal with it when we get back. We're getting close to the waypoint in this zone anyway. There's another of the items that will give a chromatic orb. That's the loot filter doing its work. Green, blue, red linked.
I believe in traveling light.
So I definitely want that. So I might just ditch something rubbish for that. There we go. Nice. There's a currency item. So this is an orb of alchemy. This will upgrade a normal item to a rare item. So if we get a nice normal item, like a physical damage axe, for example, or sword, we could re-roll that into a rare, so it will get up to 6 modifiers on it. 3 suffix, 3 suffix, 3 prefix. Plus it can also have an affix as well. Right, are we done? We are almost done. There's the waypoint up there. We'll just clear this bottom section. Make sure we're not missing any goodies. We are full to busting on the bag space, so that's good.
My spirit is spent.
Extra life flask we've just picked up. That will come in handy in a second. You notice how when you pick them up empty. So you've got to kill to fill them. The only way they are full is if you pick them up or swap them around in town. If you're doing it out in the field, they will always start empty. Just be aware of that. You may just leave yourself stuck. All right, here we go. Waypoint, which is the fast travel system. That's the mud flats, which we'll be going to shortly. The tidal island is this way, which it wants us to go to next. However, because we are full, we're going to jump straight back to town. There we go. Anything here worth keeping for ourselves? Armor 12, armor 13, but that will give us a chromatic, so no. 8, 8, 8. Well, we can swap that for that because they're the same, but that will give us a chromatic. A two-handed axe, we could use that. Increased fizz damage 17 to 29. I think we'll use that. Now, because I swapped out the sword, obviously I took one that was 2 reds. It wasn't the red-green link that we started with, but we can put our main ability in any slot. So our chest is holding Spectral Throw and Chance to Bleed at the minute. Just to confirm, you don't need it in your weapon. You can have it in any slot you like. Right, I don't think there's anything else. That's Evasion Energy Shield. We will be mostly armor, maybe a little bit of evasion occasionally. We don't need to ID that, because we're going to sell that. The only things that you sell that you want to ID will be yellows if you're not using them. You get a little bit more back for doing that. Right, sell window. Control and click. That will move everything over. You'll see we've got 2 chromatic orbs. These reforge the colour of sockets on an item. So if we were to use this on this axe, for example, we could roll that red-green, red-red, red-blue, blue-blue. All of the above. It is strength based. It requires 17 strength, so it's more likely to roll red. If it was dex based, more likely to roll green. If it's int based, more likely to roll yellow. Blue, not yellow. If it's int based, more likely to roll blue. If you're using things like chromatic orbs to try and recolor gems, just be aware of the base of items. Armor should re-roll red most of the time. Armor and evasion would roll potentially red-green most of the time. Right. We are done there. Let's go and drop off our goodies. So we have got an alchemy orb. You will get a few of these throughout the playthrough. Early doors especially. You will also get, quite early on, some of these essences. Now, the essences are similar to the alchemy orbs, but they will guarantee one of the stats when you roll a normal item to a rare item. So Early doors, if you're wanting to convert normal to rare, highly recommend trying to use essences when you get them over your alchemy orbs. There's also a bit of information overload, I know. Let me just open up Path of Building. Under the notes section, Zizaran has kindly given you a weapon crafting vendor recipe. A weapon with a rustic sash and a blacksmith whetstone will get you a fizz damage base weapon. Alright, he says you only want to start doing that from level 12 bases upwards, but you want to be doing it as often as you can to keep your weapons up to date. Alright, so we're looking for long swords, 8 to 12, bastard swords or wood splitters are the axe, and then we want to start using the vendor recipe for them. For now, though, we're doing okay. I don't even want to convert that to rare, you know. We'll leave it as it is. 43% increased fizz damage and a bit of lightning resist is alright. Resistances are a thing in this game. Resistances matter in your defense tab down here. We have fire, cold, lightning, and chaos. Chaos, you can pretty much ignore. You can get away without it. The others are very important. The cap is 75%. At the end of Act 5 boss, you will drop 30% resistances. So ideally, you want these three at 105 before the end of Act 5 boss. And then at the end of Act 10 boss, you do it again. You get another 30% hit. So effectively, you're going to lose. You're going to be on minus 60%. Fire, cold, and lightning. You want to cap them at 75. Try and keep them quite rounded out as well. The first boss we're going to come to in Act 1, we want a bit of cold resistance. So hopefully, we'll get some cold resist before we get to a girl called Merveil. The only other thing I want to show you in this episode is how to reset an instance. If you want to go back in the coast and farm the coast, you can do. You can. Control and click on the door, and you can create a new instance. You can go back in. Instances stay up for between 8 and 15 minutes. So if I went back in here, it will still be uncovered. There we go. I could go in, and if I'd left some loot on the floor, I could go and pick it up, come back out. If you reset it, your map's back to normal, all your mobs are back in there, so you can go farming. Control and click on the door, new instance, back in you go. You can go and just target farm that area. Comes in handy if you're a little bit low level. Specific zones will potentially drop specific items. You may want to target farm them. If you're just looking for better gear, if you've come across a bit of a stumbling block, you maybe can't get past a certain boss, it may be that you just want to go and farm some previous zones. The alternative way to do that, from the waypoint map, you can control and click on the zone here as well, and do the same again. New instance, or go into the old instance. Alright? I think that'll cover it for this episode. I don't think I've missed anything. If I have, I'm sure some of you more veteran players will let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, folks. I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos. It's going to be a really slow playthrough. It will take around 50 episodes to get through the 10 acts. That's just the extended tutorial. Then we'll get into and push through endgame a little bit. So have a great rest of your day, folks. If you're new around here, I would really appreciate you subscribing to the channel. If you've enjoyed this video, drop it a thumbs up for me. It does help other people find it. And I'll see you again soon. Take care.